Performance bonuses are very limited in the NHL. Rookies can have them in their contracts. Players over 35 can have them. And there's one other category of player who can have heavy performance bonuses in their contract. That is players who have played a minimum of 400 games, who spent 100 days the previous year on long-term injury reserve. Connor Brown qualifies on those counts. He's only 29 years of age, so he does qualify for a heavy bonus-laden contract, and that appears to be what he got from Edmonton.
He did. Now, it'll be $4 million if it all works out in terms of the heavy bonuses, but it's $775,000 in base salary, and then you've got the remainder of the $3.25 million, right, in bonus possibility for Connor Brown. So it's not overly complicated, but complicated enough that we can appreciate why he took a little bit of time to sort through it.
But the trick here is for the Oilers, who are tight against the cap, is only the 775 counts against their cap for the coming year.
The rest of it goes into a bonus overage for next year.
For the year beyond that.
Yeah, then the year beyond that, and everybody's anticipating the cap will go up by $4 million that year.
Now we know it's officially done. Is he the top six guy they needed?
I don't see him as a full-time top six guy. He can play up there. You know, and they say, well, he has a history with McDavid. We played junior hockey with McDavid.
Yeah.
You know, that's a long time ago. But he was a big-time scorer in junior. He's a big-time scorer in the American Hockey League. I think he's a really terrific all-around player. I see him as a third-line player who can play up on short notice.
Yeah, he's certainly versatile, and one of the areas that his game excels in is on the PK, right? He's got a real active stick. I think he anticipates really well. He's constantly moving his feet, so he does create off of the PK as well. It's just going to be interesting to see, you know, what his legs look like coming off an injury like that.
What his legs looks like is key. I like the fit. You just put him with anybody, he seems to make it work. When he was with Toronto and William Nylander was with Austin Matthews and they switched it up a little bit and Connor Brown went in that situation, things didn't change that much. The production, he sees the game so well. It's all about his health and how his knee is going to respond, but I see him fitting in anywhere. He's just one of those guys that makes it work.
Top six forwards on every team, 180 in the league. That's like 40-point season. He's a 40-point scorer with Connor. He's absolutely a top six guy. He's not an elite top six guy, but he's certainly a top six guy, whether he plays with those guys or not. The fact that he's good defensively also helps, right? Those guys need support. As Connor McDavid, he's taken steps, sure. But it's also good if you have a winger on his line that can play a little bit of defense, go along with him. I think Jay Woodcroft will really grow to like Connor Brown.
Every coach has.
Penalty kill. All of a sudden, he's like, oh, he's 19 minutes a game again. He always seems to end up there, regardless of what role he plays on. He's a versatile guy. You get a lot of good options.
Well, Cheryl mentioned that PK. We were doing all those Sens games. It felt like he had shorthanded breakaways or
all the time. Didn't always finish on him.
Game,
yeah, he didn't always finish on him, but I just think it's a real gift to his game. And when you know they're sitting at 20, I think it's 20th in the league in the PK this last season, and so now you've got a guy here who's got a lot of energy. He keeps his feet moving, as I'd mentioned. He reminds me, not the same skill set in terms of his finishing ability. A little bit of a Hyman-like player. He creates. He can generate energy. He can give a little bit of buzz. He can hound pucks.
Back in the day, Hyman was not supposed to be able to finish either.
That's
all of a sudden, he's scoring near 40. So he's not bad. I'd send him to Jeff O'Neill, like quite literally, the school of shooting. Like Connor Brown is an excellent player at almost everything except shooting. He just doesn't shoot the puck that well for the volume of chances he gets. If he could shoot like,
is there a Jeff O'Neill shooting school?
There should be. I would have gone.
Geez, I could have broken away Kleenex with my shot. I would be
Connor
coming.
Brown, much like Pooley, MJ, myself, he's the responsible one on the line. Everyone else go nuts offensively. We've got things covered.
Yeah, you'd show up one day a week, say hi to the kids, sign a few things, and then let the assistants take over, right?
Now you're talking a business.
That's his game.
Let's bring in Ryan Rishaug. I know you've been listening to all this. Your thoughts on Connor Brown as an Oiler?
Well, he'll definitely be a top six forward on this team. No question about it. They moved on from Kyler Yamamoto, a player that spent tons of time playing with either Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. Didn't finish at the rate that he would have liked or they would have liked him to. So they move on from him. They'll insert a player in Connor Brown, who, yes, is coming off the injury. All indications are he's fully training, 100% up to speed, expected to be ready to go for training camp. So there's a history there with McDavid, as you said. He's a guy that has shown he can get 20 goals in this league, and that was not playing with Connor McDavid. And there is room in the top six on this team for him. The other thing to keep in mind, you guys, Dylan Holloway's very good young player that's coming along here. Didn't spend a ton of time or get a ton of ice time in the NHL last season. He would be the next up to fit into that top six. I think the Oilers really wanted to put a veteran player in front of him to make him earn those top six minutes and not rush him and give him too much too soon. So this is the one they were targeting. This is the one they get. And because they're so tight on the cap this year, James, because of that bonus structure, it allows them to spend next year's money to make this year's team better. And that's the way they had to squeeze it in.
Excellent stuff. Ryan Rishaug in Edmonton. For more on this, an Olympic champion and a Stanley Cup champion, Tessa Benham and Devontae Smith-Pelly.
Thank you very much. I know, I was wondering, I was just asking you, where's your bling? You didn't want to show up the guys, or?
Yeah, I left it at home today.
You did. Too big to wear, I assume,
exactly.
just based on the pictures that were released. Yeah, Carlo Lentim's running shoes. They look really good. Same size. That works out well. Connor Brown, let's talk about him in Edmonton. What will he bring to this team?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to bring a lot. I mean, for him, I think this is a perfect, ideal situation coming off a long injury. A good way to get your profile back and play on a good team, and obviously play with, the best player in the world. So, he's going to bring that style of forechecking and creating chances. Obviously, 97 creates chances by himself, but he's got the ability to finish those chances, create more chances, and for him, this is an ideal situation. I'm excited for him.
Does his style of game kind of remind you of anyone's game in particular? Maybe yours?
Not mine. He's a little bit more of a goal scorer than me, but I think kind of, the way Barbashev complemented Jack Eichel and Marcia. So obviously Barbashev's a little more physical, but just the way he did the dirty work for them, got the puck to the stars, and finished when he had an opportunity.
Pierre LeBrun had mentioned that Milan Lucic is signed and returning to Boston. You were, I don't even want to say lucky enough, because it's kind of unlucky when you play against Milan. How terrifying was it to suit up against him?
Yeah, I mean, that was a couple years ago, but back then, he was scoring, 20, 30 goals and flying around and with massive hits. So obviously his role now is going to be a little bit different. He's a little bit older, but, he'll be good going home back to Boston, and he'll be good for the dressing room, and hopefully he has a good year.
Do you ever take or give a massive hit with him?
We've definitely run into each other, and it didn't go my way.
Right, unfortunately. Back to you, James.
Thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Devontae. Let's check in with Craig Button for his thoughts on Connor Brown as an Oiler.
We talk about the history with him and Connor McDavid, but I think one of the key things to play with Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl is to have a lot of intelligence, and Connor Brown has lots of intelligence. We can talk about the skating, scoring 20 goals. That's what you need, and I think that he can fit into those different areas of the game and with the different players, and I think that becomes really significant, his addition there. It's not just that he fits into that role, it's that I think with the added intelligence, it's really, really, really a nice fit.